Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcode.com, and welcome to day 21 of our 100 days of Go and Rust. Okay, so in the last video we started working with the web frameworks. For Go it was Echo, for Rust it was Actix, and we learned how to get them set up, how to get URL queries, and how to get variables from the URL path. Now in this video what I'm going to do is focus on receiving the body of the request. Okay, so basically make a route that's like a post route, and then add that route to a request. So let's do that. Okay, so let's figure out how that works. Let's do it in Go. So let me open up Go Echo here. Okay, let's go look at the documentation. Request. I think it's how you do this is in the request part. Okay, form data. Well, that's just going to be C form value, so that's just going to be stored in the form. Query parameters, path parameters. Okay. What if I'm receiving JSON data? Binding data of request data to native, Go structs, and variables supported by C binding data. I think this is it right here. Yep. This is in the request body, uses the JSON package to do unmarshalling. Okay, yeah, we use structs, I get that. So we have to create a struct that describes the different parameters, ID, string, query. Okay. Bound a struct in given order. Let's see here, we go default binder. Bind body, let's see here. Bind C payload. If error example. Okay, here we have an example. Okay, so we see context, C bind U. Flaws. Okay, that's straightforward. Okay. So in that case, what we would do is we would write a route. So again, let me just make this full screen. So again, the way we write a route is this is our application object, so our new Echo object, and basically we specify the method this way, and then we just do our normal. This is the route. This is the function handler, and oops, and then again everything is kind of handled through this context object. So if you're familiar with Express, like what would be inside request and response is all inside this Echo object. So if I go e.get, well, actually I want to do an e.post, and we'll call this get body. Okay, will be the route, and then we do func c echo.context error. Okay. Now let's pretend that I want to get like a body, so I have to describe what the body should be coming in as. So I'm just going to assume that we're going to be sending in over a dog. So I'm going to create a struct. Okay, so we'll just say type dog struct. Okay, and then the dog struct will have a name property. Okay. That is a string. Okay, and then we can tag it with like JSON. I guess technically it should be like name, because again, theoretically I might have it in a different file, so to bring into this file I have to have all the properties as uppercase, but then I can make it explicit that whenever we're talking about a JSON representation, the JSON representation's name and age, which is a integer, actually just int, and again the JSON representation of that would be age. Unexpected type dog struct. I might have the order in the wrong. I might have those in the wrong order. Let's see the struct declaration type user struct. Oh, lowercase. There we go. As you can tell, I just woke up not too long ago. Okay, as often is the case in these videos. Okay, so post. So what I want to do is receive the body. So what I need to do is create, we'll say body equals a new dog. Okay. Syntax unexpected dog at the end of the statement. Oh yeah, I have to type this as dog. Or I can just do this. This works too. Syntax error. Oh wait, that's right. I don't need to use the word new, I just have to create a dog. Missing arguments to conversion to dog. Dog missing the return at the end of the function. Brain. Let's see here. New. Oh, we'll use this new function. I'm just creating a blank dog. New dog. Body declared but not used. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Okay, so then I'm gonna use c.bind, but forget to have to error handle that. Yep. Okay, so I can be like if. Well, I just rather do this. Yep. If error does not equal nil, then c.bind body. So that'll take the body and bind it to that, which means it'll just store any matching properties in that struct. Okay, and then colon if error equal. I see. I did that wrong. C error. So basically I'm assigning the error from an unsuccessful binding to error. So if error ends up being equaling a value, then I can check, hey, is error nil? So that's the handle. And in which case, what am I doing with that? And then I'm just going to return. So if the error is not nil, meaning there's no error, then I'll do some stuff with the data. So I will return, and I can return JSON data with this function, c.json, and I want to return the body as JSON. And what is it not like? If error not equal to nil, error. Let me examine that again. If error not equal to c bind u, semicolon, error not equal oh, it's c.json. Okay. c.json http dot status okay. So we're just returning a 200 level status and we're returning the body. Okay, not sure why it's still not liking this. If error not nil. Again, look at the example. That is the way this is written. If error c bind u. Or I could just write this the long way. Okay, so just put these on separate lines. And let's do this. And let's see, undefined error. So I can just do that. And then a missing return statement. And if that doesn't happen, then we just return error. c.json error. http dot status okay. There we go. Not compatible with flex struct tag dot get. Okay, I mean, that should be. I think I have to put quotation marks, don't I? Where's the struct? Yeah, JSON. I have to include quotation marks. That's what I'm missing. Toot. Cool, that should work. So let's try this out. Okay, let's open up the folder, open integrated terminal. So again, what am I doing? Just to recap, I'm saying I'm defining a route that is a post request to this URL /getBody, and then this function will run, which creates a new dog object that's going to be the body, because I'm expecting that the body is going to send over data in that shape, and then I'm binding the data in the request body to that body object, which is just a dog. So if there is a name and an age in there, I should bind it, and that struct will have those properties. And if not, an error will be assigned to error. So if an error, so basically I check, hey, is error empty, which it should be if everything went well. If that's the case, then return the dog. If not, then send over an error. And again, I'm not bothering with the else because it's never going to get done. I don't need the else because if the if was true, it wouldn't get down there. You know, sometimes you just don't need the extra characters. Okay, so that's there. Then I have the folder over, so we can just do go run server.go. Okay, the server started. Now let's make a request. So I'll use Thunder Client. This is a VS Code extension. Looks a lot like Postman, but in VS Code or Insomnia. Get body. Do I have a name and age in the body? Yes. Okay, so I want to make this a post request. Let's try it out. Null. Okay, so I got null. Interesting. So that's not quite what I expected to get. So let's see here. Form, query, email. Name and age. So let me go take a look back at my code here. So again, JSON, name, JSON, age, and that's what they were. Okay, anything else I'm thinking here that could be the issue? Find the body. Let's just examine this again. U equals new user. Yep. C.bind u, so that binds it to the user. Now they're just returning the user. Okay. User equals user UTO. Let's see some business logic user. Okay. So theoretically that should be there. Example below, bind the payload into user, select on tags. Yep. And that should do a name, email, Joe, Lapsack. Yeah, there, theoretically that's set up. Get body func. Let's see if there's anywhere I made a misstep. Made it equal new dog object. Error, we found it. What I will do is let's do an FMT. FMT.println of error. Did I not import FMT in here? No, I didn't. FMT and FMT.println body. So let's see what we get in there. So let's run the server again. And again, that's /getBody. And did I make sure it's a post request? Yeah. So post to. Okay, and there we go. We got nil. And then yeah, this is we got the struct, and the struct equals Brutus35. So that's good. That's what I expected. So why are we not serializing the struct as JSON? HTTP new user. And I'm pretty sure the struct tags are set up right. Must be something I'm not importing, probably. So type user struct ID string param query header form JSON. I mean, none of these other ones really matter. Use the Go JSON package for unmarshalling. Oh, do I still have to unmarshal it? But we can do that in here. Custom binder. So we are getting the right data. So theoretically, I think I need to change that I need to change it to JSON. So let me remember how to use the Marshall function. Turning struct to JSON. Go. Going to bring in encoding JSON and then use JSON Marshall to turn it into. Okay. So let's do this. Then if error net nil, then we will do, so we'll just say response error equals JSON dot Marshall, and I gotta import JSON encoding, JSON or encoding JSON. Okay, and I'm going to take this stuff and I gotta change this into something else. We'll just make this like, well, it's a different scope, so that's fine. Error JSON.Marshall. Let me just double check, is that one L or two L's? Marshall, yep. JSON.Marshall, and that is going to be marshalling body. I don't remember having to do this before, but let's see here. JSON response declared but not used. Yep, we'll get to that. We're just gonna say if error not equal to nil. We'll do this, which is gonna be this guy here. Except now we're sending over response. And else we could return c.json. Cool. Let's try that again. Still, it still sends me back no. It is running the. Now I see this is a pointer, so this is pointing to the struct. So that tells me maybe what I should be doing is actually, if I change this back to body, what I should probably be doing is maybe sending the pointer to body. And let's just get rid of this code. I don't think we need this. Okay, and let's just try that out. Nope. I'm gonna turn on the server. Oh, it's complaining that I didn't use the JSON library, so let's go comment that out. Oh, compile time errors. Okay, let's try that out. No. Interesting. Am I requesting from the wrong server? No, it's 3000. And it is giving me the right prints. So I'm getting the right data. It's just not giving me the right thing. I'm trying to think why. So let's go back to the Go documentation. Okay, responses. Let's go back to responses, and I want to send a JSON response. Okay, echo user. I did this. I did the tagging of the strings. And we're sending you at user. I mean, that's basically correct. So there we say we send JSON. And we just do c.json, HTTP status okay, you, that's what we did. So I am not quite seeing what it doesn't like about what I am doing. It's in a struct. The struct is got the JSON tags. This is a post request. And we print the body. We got, like, so for example, if I do body.name, no, it's body.uppercase name. Oh, this is never gonna happen. I don't know why it's just suddenly telling me that. Okay, but let's see, get Brutus. So yeah, that struct is there. Okay, headers, response headers. I'm getting the application JSON headers. So that's fine. But I get no. Interesting. There is something probably very stupid that I'm missing here. C.json HTTP status okay. And body. Let's see what happens if we just use their example. Let's see here, something different that I am missing. Okay, so if I do this, let's just first do this. So if I just use an arbitrary struct, okay, I will comment out this right here and just do that. And that's recompile undefined at user. We'll just make this dog. And we'll just make this name and age. And make this 55. Just so that way it all jives together. And then if I go to Thunder client, see that it returns. It will return. So it's not the struct. That it returns the data just fine. We are getting Brutus there. And we are able to access Brutus's properties. So if I can send this dog, well, I can't send that dog. I mean, I could always do this and just sit there and say, like, u equals a new dog, and then say name equals body dot name, but I shouldn't have to. Something, it's just something I'm not thinking about. And I've done this before, so I know that there is a way. Age body.name cannot use body.name, it's body.age. Oh, the mornings. But if I do that, I mean, that should work. So they Brutus, like that works. Why did the original one not work? Meh. That's something we'll have to figure out with time, but that's a workaround. You can always just, again, reassign it to a new struct like this, and then pass that in there. It's, again, not ideal, but it does the job. I mean, theoretically, what you could do is you could just pack this all into like a helper function to make that straightforward. Okay, cool. And so that's kind of how we would get the bodies. But the bottom line of the story is you would type a struct and you would use this bind method to bind it to the struct, and that's how you do it there. Now let's head over to Actix and take a look at how we would do it here. So let's just kind of relook at the syntax here. So again, we have this attribute that defines the route. We define a function. We can use typing in the parameters to get any path parameters, aka params, and queries. But now how do we get a body? How would we get the body of the request? So let's take a look, get started. And again, the reason I'm doing this video series is as much for me as it is for you guys, because I'm learning as we go along too. Again, I don't use Rust and Go as my daily sort of work languages. So this is more for like personal enrichment and just, you know, personal improvement in these languages, because I think they're good languages to know. Okay, request. Let's go to request. Let's see how we can grab the body. So if I get a JSON, there are several options for JSON body deserialization. The first option is to use the JSON extractor. First, you define a handler function that accepts JSON T as a parameter. Then you use .to method for registering this handler. It is also possible to accept the arbitrary valid JSON object as a type T. For example, of JSON of a JSON request. Okay, we have Serde, and well, we'll add Serde JSON because I don't think I have that in there. So let's go to Rust Actix. Let's head over to the cargo.toml. We add Serde JSON. Okay. If you want to add a default value for the field, Serde's documentation. So again, in this case, here we have the struct being defined, and then we're going to say web JSON. So that must mean it's from the body and it's JSON. Okay, and then it's got to match this info struct. Okay, info.username. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. So in that case, let's head back over to our main.rs here. We have a struct called meal, so we'll just kind of work with that, which is cheese and bread. So what we'll do is we'll create a new route. It'll be a post to meal. And I gotta import Serde JSON. So let me just see here. What's the import statement there? Deserialize. See here. Oh, okay, it's using web. So we just have to have Serde JSON installed, Serde JSON library installed. So in that case, I can just do this. So web JSON. Is that all uppercase or just the first? Yep, just the first characters uppercase. So web JSON, and again the type is meal. So basically, look at the JSON body and grab the properties that should match meal. Okay, result string. I am going to eat. Okay, and in this case, I don't want this anymore. So, oh, am I changing the wrong route? Yes, I am. Yep, back over here to our meal route. So this is gonna be here. JSON meal. That's fine. And then technically that should just work as it is. Okay, so let's try to do that. Save. That was actually one of the few times where like doing it in Rust was easier. Okay, so let's go to the Rust Actix folder. Open that in the integrated terminal. Do a cargo run. Oh, doesn't like something. I spoke too soon. Conflicting implementation for meal. Oh, I guess you can't have two even though they have different routes. I think you have to like define different logic. So we'll just call this get, you know, post meal. There we go. And then I actually gotta connect that anyways. Dot service post meal. Oh, it's because the functions are the same name. So let me just test that theory out. Keep that meal. We'll call this post meal. Okay, and then we register that route. Okay, and now if I do that, oh, we still got an error. Just double check. Okay. No field cheese on type meal. Let's see here. Meal, we have a cheese and bread. But meal is of type JSON. So why is it saying like on type meal? But meal should be was declared as a parameter. So that's where it is coming from. Let's see, maybe one of the earlier answers. He goes, here's meal, expected struct JSON, found struct meal. This expression has type meal. Meal is interpreted as a unit struct, not a new binding. Help introduce a new binding. Other meal. No field cheese on type meal. So it's being treated as a unit. That's weird. Web. So let me just take a look here, see if there's something I'm missing. Derive, deserialize. I think I have that attribute already on there, right? Yep, derive, deserialize. Good. So it implements the deserialize. Async function using shared, which we did. Info, WebJSON info. We did that with meal. Okay, format, welcome, info.username. Okay, web, post, index. Okay, so they did it that way. So that should be fine. Fine, run, await. Yeah, no, I don't see anything particularly wrong with the way I wrote this. So async function, post meal. Now again, let's just see if I just name all this stuff differently. Post meal. Does that fix the error? No. Yeah, I figured it's not that. You know what? I think it's because I need a space here. It probably thinks that that's all one big thing. So let's try that out. Nope. Meal struct JSON found struct meal. Let's just see here. Info.meal. What am I missing here? And I kind of remember having this issue in the past with Rocket, with JSON. I remember there was some sort of trick. Result string. That is fine. Functions, text, extract info. Example of JSON request depends on insert a JSON. Let's take a look at the second example. Let me see if there's something different in the second example. Payload. So in this example, you may also manually load the payload into memory, then deserialize it. My obj. So here they're just grabbing the payload. I like the first way better. But why don't it want to work for me? Info web JSON info. Am I using the right characters? I think I am. Web JSON meal. That's the struct. That's not really doing anything different than the other struct did. Web path this. Oh, I think I see. Because the way we did here, it was, oh, that's with the path. But then when we do it with a query, it's just like that. So it would stand to reason, and the same in the example, that info web JSON info. What is it that I am not seeing? Mio web JSON Mio. And again, the error says mismatch types. Expected struct JSON. Found struct Mio. Okay, well, what if this? What if I give it a different name? Body. Okay, and then in the error we're going to use body. This is the naming, which that looks like what's going to be the case. For some reason, I don't like it being called meal. But let's see here. Let's finish watching it. Well, actually, let's just assume it's running. So let's go here. Localhost in this case. Oh, what port is it? Port 4000. So I want to do 4000. Okay. Get meal. Was it post meal? I think. Post meal. Making a post request, and that should be putting in cheese and bread. Oh, actually, cheese, Gouda, bread, rye. I'm going to eat Gouda and rye. So see, it works. Okay. Still not quite sure why we were getting that error earlier, but it is what it is. But it's pretty straightforward. Again, you just type it, just the parameter, we type it, we pass in the struct, it binds it, and yeah, you can use it. That was pretty straightforward. Thanks, Russ, for being straightforward for once. I like that. Okay, cool. Probably the next one, I'm trying to think where else we want to go with this. Maybe we'll start looking into like connecting a database into these frameworks and start thinking about how that would look like. I know with like Go we'll use Gorm. I've done that before. With Actix, I'm not quite sure which ORMs we'll use. Like last time I used Rocket with database. With Rust. I ended up having to just use the raw Postgres drivers, which was a barrel of fun. And pretty much had to make my own ORM from scratch. Okay, and doing that in Rust was not pleasant. But that was a long time ago, and I've forgotten how I did it. So we'll come back to that, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. You guys have a great day, and enjoy.